My name is Suman Gujral. I'm an artist, poet and storyteller. A lot of my work is based on my history as a British Indian Sikh. My parents were displaced by the 1947 partition of India. They had to leave their homes in what is now West Pakistan and start a new life in what stayed as India. They moved here 18 years after the partition of India and had to start afresh. Their experiences have made me really interested on the impact of forcible displacement and made me see the resonances between their experiences and the experiences of people who are currently being forcibly displaced by events beyond their control. And I feel it's really important that as an artist and a poet, I actually speak about those things. Third Space project started a couple of years ago. During lockdown, I started to write poetry after not having written anything for quite a long time. And I found poetry to be a really useful way of thinking about my experiences. It was very good for my mental health as well. And then I also found it to be a lovely way of connecting with other people. Lockdown finished and I started going to poetry workshops and poetry events, readings. And I realised that often I would be the only brown face there. And this kind of made me feel that I wanted to create a platform for South Asian poets. And that's when the first seeds of the idea of Third Space were born. One of the things that's part of the project is an anthology of 50 new poems by South Asian poets. The cover is based on one of my father's handkerchiefs. My mum, after he died, gave me a whole pile of his hankies. I started to make work with them, and in working with them I connected with my dad's story, and it's great to see it on the cover of this book, which I feel is actually going to be a very important book. Arts Council supported 2 launch events for the anthology. One was in St Albans Museum Gallery, one was in Gibbard Gallery. The launch events were all really fantastic. They were an opportunity for the poets to celebrate their achievement in being in the anthology and for people to hear the poems being read. And there was a really lovely community feel to them because people came and sat together and shared food and shared their stories. And it was so multicultural that it was an absolute joy to see it. They also gave me funding to run lots of poetry workshops, which was fantastic because lots of people got introduced to poetry and had an opportunity to write and learn from experienced tutors that might not otherwise have tried it. I also had support from various organisations that I worked with. St Albans Museum Gallery in St Albans, where I live, Harlow from the Gibbard Gallery. I also had a huge amount of support from the publisher of the first anthology, Will Zadie Leonard of Renard Press. And UH Arts also supported me by filming the project so that I would have a permanent document of it. It's almost a year since the submissions window was launched for the first anthology, and the second anthology, which is called Remembrance. It's about the stories of the South Asian diaspora, about the 4 million Indian soldiers who fought in the 2 world wars in the British Army, and about the immigrants who spread across the world and their struggles and successes as they made new lives for themselves after the 1947 and the 1972 partitions. What I'm working on right now is creating a hub called Third Space Stories, which is for poets and writers, a space where people can share their experiences, give each other advice, tell each other what's coming up in the future. The other thing that I'm doing is a lot of work around Stitch, which is called Stitch Your Story, and this work is based on my conversations with my mother. She gave me some sheets which she embroidered with my grandma in their new home after they were displaced, and from those sheets I've set up a whole series of works and workshops around how we remember our histories and carry them forward using Stitch.